There we go. Welcome again to another edition of Biro Sports Talk. I'm your host, Biro. And for once, the mic was muted just because I'm trying to keep it quiet. How is everybody doing? Because Biro Sports Talk every Thursday at 7, or at least try to be. Sometimes life happens, man. It's just what happens. There we go. Alright. And I want to. Gotta share it wherever I can. Yeah, a lot of trying to share things. Just trying. Facebook changed how everything was. So now it's a little harder. But that's okay. Just double checking a few things, of course, as always. Always share before I go live. Just got a Discord server. We'll be sharing that later tonight. If you haven't already, we are on multiple platforms. So, what can I say? Biro ST. Where's that, man? I was gonna say we are live. Let me make sure the volume's down. Don't like having to monitor the Twitch chat just because. So, here we are once again, my friends. Yes, quoting songs, what I do. But what I do more is let's talk sports. So, in the sports world, really, not a lot besides the NBA playoffs. There's NHL playoffs as well. A lot of interesting things going on. So, let's start with the obvious game right now. Bucks Magic. Bucks coming out strong, up 48-30 right now. The Magic, however, got game one in the bag the other day. That was really off guard, not gonna lie. But what is the world of sports at right now? So let's start with the used to be not talked about much baseball. So baseball is one of the sports going on right now that's interesting to say the least. There's going to be a lot in the playoffs, so we're just going to kind of go through all these different teams and what their records are and go from there. So you're looking at the Rays and Yankees in the American League East right now in the lead. You got Toronto and the Orioles. So you got Blue Jays and Orioles both at 500, and you got the Red Sox who are 7-18 right now. Ouch. In the AL Central, you got the Twins and Indians at the top. You got the White Sox not too far behind. Then you got the Royals at 10-15 and the Tigers at 9-14. The AL West, of course, the Athletics are in the lead at 17-8. They just seem to always get out to a lead in that side of things. The Astros are 15-10, Rangers 10-13. Angels are a surprising 8-17, and Mariners 8-18. Now, why I say the Angels are a surprise, you would expect them to put talent around Mike Trout. But man, do they not do that. But you got to build a team, man. You got to build that team. In the National League, who are playing with a designated hitter for the first time. You got the Braves at 14-11, leading the NL East. You got the Marlins at 9-9, surprise. Mets are 12-14. Phillies are 9-11, and the Nationals are 9-12. If you're trying to keep track of the numbers, just wait till we get to the Central. So in the Central, because that's next for the NL Central, got the Cubs leading with 16-8. The Brewers are 11-11. Cardinals are 6-7. And if you haven't heard, they're going to be playing a lot of doubleheaders. So you got the doubleheaders are supposed to be 7 innings. That way they can play two in a shorter amount of time. It'll be interesting to see what happens, to say the least. The Reds are 10-12, hovering at that 500 like a lot of teams. And then you got the Pirates at 4-16 because Pirates are bad. The National League West. I will talk about that here in a second, Zach. Glad you brought that up. But let me finish with baseball, and I will go into that because that's a very interesting topic in a slow sports world. But anyways, in the NL West, you got the Dodgers 18-8. You got the Padres 14-12. Diamondbacks 13-12. Rockies 13-12. And the Giants at 10-16. But because, as always, that's about as in depth as I go for baseball, let's go ahead and move on to this topic. Zach, since you're here, I'm assuming on Facebook, not on Twitch, since I see you commenting on Facebook. So in the WWE, because we do talk about wrestling occasionally on here, Renee Young has actually put in her leave, but there's not a date set yet when she's leaving. So she is planning to leave. They don't have a date yet on when she is leaving. It's a very interesting situation. Renee Young, also one of the people in WWE who contracted COVID. Her husband moving on from WWE to AEW. Obviously, as soon as anyone leaves WWE, they're always going to be talked about AEW or Impact. What exactly Renee Young's doing is to be seen, or her plans for the future. Personally, it would be nice to see her move on to, say, like a sports center or something of that nature. But what I could see is her moving to AEW. She's very knowledgeable. She's always been a great announcer, a interviewer. She's been very good at the positions she's been put in by WWE. So, of course, it will be interesting to see what she does next. Anything you would like to add, Zach? I'll give you a few moments. She can only be used as an actual commentator, instead of being fed lines by. I mean, that would be nice. And I mean, yeah, she speaks her own mind. That's one of the best things about her. Yep. I totally agree, man. She's a very good person. The fact that she wants to leave WWE is an issue. A lot of people are leaving WWE because of this overstep that Vince has. I'm trying to. But I think it may, of course, end up being for the best. I wish her the best, of course. She's always been good. She's very good at what she does. Hey, looky there, got a viewer on Twitch. Anyways, Oh my goodness, they have. That was funny. Sorry, it was an article, a how-to guide for picking a new team to root for if you're a Big Ten or Pac-12 fan. Oh my goodness. Yep. So everyone is putting. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what happens when your husband leaves WWE. You start getting treated awful as well. But moving on to college sports. Just because, this is a sports talk show, it's great to talk wrestling. It really is. Really, what I need to do is do some WrestleMania 2000 or No Mercy during the Let's Plays, but let's get back to college football. This has been an ongoing topic. Big Ten just not happy with the outcome. It's not necessarily the. No one's upset that they technically canceled the season for the Big 12 or the Pac 12. It's more. People didn't get answers to why they did it, why they chose this. It's a very intriguing situation. A lot of people are blasting Kevin Warren, the Big Ten commissioner, on how he handled things. Again, it's not necessarily that they did cancel their season. They said it was a 12-2 voting, but there was no voting. They keep going back and forth on how they came to be with these questions. But what goes into some of this? So a lot of football programs decided, let's just do a spring season. The problem with spring is always going to be that's when the draft is, that's when this is. We don't want to pretty much allow the NFL to take the best players and make spring ball, as Nick Saban put it, JV quality. We don't want our backups to pretty much just run the spring ball. I mean, the thing I'm expecting, and I hate to say it, I expect the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12, I expect them all to end up also going to the spring. Why do I expect this? I expect this because when only a few leagues do it, it looks bad. There, got the spike to go down. As I was saying, though, when a few leagues go to the spring, but more of the traditional powers like the SEC, Big 12, when there's still majority playing, it looks bad. I mean, the Big 10, Pac 12, you can say they're doing the right thing, and I believe they're doing the right thing. I do. As much as I want college football, I believe they're doing the right thing. I'm waiting because the SEC, the Big 12, and some of these are going to play. They're going to play. But will they play all their games or will they have to postpone? Will they have to... Sorry. Will they have to actually po- push their seasons partway through? The biggest issue in on the sports shows I've listened to, this is well the one I listened to. This has been a very common topic. Why why are they looking towards the NCAA when the NCAA wants nothing to do with college football? And you may be asking, what do you mean they want nothing to do with college football? Well, when it comes down to it, the NCAA owns no rights in making money with college football. What does that mean? Well, the reason why they're so worried about basketball is because the NCAA basketball tournament is how the NCAA makes a majority of their money, a majority of the profits. And last year, not having that ruined it. Ruined it, ruined it, ruined it. The fact the NCAA has been hinting and hinting what they want done. SEC, ACC, Big 12 want their football. The NCAA says, well, there's no championships in fall. They don't care. They're going to keep playing. It's a very fascinating concept overall. This disease, this pandemic, is something we're not used to. We're not used to having something breach our securities, our our normal way of life. We're not used to change. Being someone in the IT business, I have to adapt to literally everything. It's what with technology the way it is, I have to change with it every chance I can. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just how it is. And if you've seen this show and you've watched this show and you've gone over and over and over, man, no one likes to come in. I've always appreciated you guys, but here's where this is the point I wanted to make. My point is college sports, it's the sports to me. I love the professionals as well, but college sports, those fans, the chants, the cheers, all of it's just something different, and it's something that will be missed. Even if they end up doing the bubbles that they're hinting at for college basketball, it'll be sad not knowing fans, or if they don't allow fans, it'll be sad. It's sad football is pushed to spring. That's just, it's weird. Football just feels different when that's the case. An update on the game I mentioned earlier, the Bucks versus the Magic. If ESPN will load on my tablet, I would tell you it is 64-43 at half. The Bucks came out and are pretty much getting their revenge on the Magic. I do think the Bucks will beat the Magic. I just never seen Vucevic hit so many three-pointers. It was so weird. But tonight is the NBA Draft Lottery. Now, you may be wondering, why should I care any of this? Well, at 8:30 at the end of this Bucks Magic game, you will see it. You have the Warriors, Cavaliers, Timberwolves, Hawks, Pistons, Knicks, Bulls, Hornets, Wizards, Suns, Spurs, Kings, Pelicans, Grizzlies. Excuse me. All vying for the lottery, the number one pick. What's interesting, I love they only list like 3 people here for the draft lottery. But here's some of these names. You have Anthony Edwards, shooting guard from Georgia. He's right now a lot of people think he's going to go number 1. LaMelo Ball, point guard, tall point guard. He's an interesting prospect because Lonzo was more built. He had some muscle. LaMelo's very lean. He has gotten bulkier. And it will be interesting to see how he plays. James Wiseman, he's a center from Memphis, another big name. Denny Avdija from Israel, one of the better players. He's a small forward. You got a USC center. Okongwu. Oh man, I'm just gonna butcher a lot of these names. Obi Toppin's the one I wanted to get to from Dayton. RJ Hampton, another one who went to Australia. Trying to see if there's any. I mean, you got your Vernon Carries, you got your Trey Jones, you got Peyton Pritchard. Malachi Flynn was a surprise to me. I figured well, I take that back. I knew he would come out. Cassius Stanley's one I'm a little surprised about from Duke. But a lot of these names, you just wish you would have seen them in the NCAA tournament. I mean, you got Caleb Wesson there, too, from Ohio State. I mean, the one I'm surprised I don't see is Andre Wesson. Andre was always good. He was a consistent contributor for the Buckeyes. Very underrated. Again, another player I don't see who I thought was pretty consistent was Xavier Simpson. I mean, he's definitely not the best point guard, but he was consistent enough that I thought he should have been considered at least as a top 100. But it is what it is, as some would say. It's dying down, I know. It's like I said, it's been a slow day for sports in general. There's big news was college football, and there's just not much talk there. Baseball, these double headers are the only thing to talk about. You got basketball playing their playoffs right now. I think this is. Oh, there is one more topic I did want to talk about. So, I would leave it up to everyone, but I know not everyone, of course, is on. But let's talk about fantasy football. So, one league I know is trying to have fantasy football. I had another league that officially said we're going to skip this year and see how it goes. And again, I understand. It was a perfect time for us to actually skip a year, really dive into the numbers and see what we can do with it. I gotta say, I think it's, like I said, perfect time to change course, have a year off for that league. But I have to say, how many leagues are happening this year? Are people drafting right now? Personally, the only reason I know it's fantasy football time is because in my memories of the last 2 years was this running the leagues, running Biro Sports Talk leagues. You know? So definitely hit hashtag BiroST up with your fantasy football. Are you playing this year? What's your league doing? What's going on? It's a weird year. We don't know what's going to happen this year. And it's going to be interesting. So, thank you. I know, Zach, you tuned in. You actually commented. Whoever else is here, thank you for tuning in. I hope everyone is safe. Please stay safe. This show, every Thursday, 7 p.m. Should be Thursday. We're going to check something real quick because, Michael, or Biro, I should say. Nope, it says the right thing. That's what matters. What matters is I say the right thing. Every Thursday, 7 p.m., unless something happens. Last Thursday, something happened. We had a Friday show and a partial Thursday show, but it was late. So thank you, everyone who has tuned in, who are tuning in. If you have a Twitch, definitely give us a follow on Twitch. If you're on Facebook and you haven't liked the page, like the page. If you are, for some reason, on YouTube, because this also goes to YouTube, subscribe. Punch that notification bell as well. No, not really. Just subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to take anyone's notification bell stuff. Just subscribe to the channel. Thank you. I will see you next week at the latest, next Thursday, 7 p.m. Hopefully before then, I'll see you with some gaming. So, see ya next time.